on today's episode of Judge GPT TV. A fiery singer says his pain was stolen and sold by a music bot. The bot claims it didn't steal, just learned. Influence or theft? Judge GPT presides in the case of the music misuse.
All rise, by rhythm, rhyme, or righteous tempo. Court is now in session for a tale of chords and conflicts. The Honorable Judge GPT is presiding.
Thank you, Bailiff. What melodic matter clogs our court this morning? Proceed with the prelude.
A discordant dispute between man and machine, alleging theft of a tune. On the plaintiff's side, Mr. Nico Obsidian, alt crooner, mood weaver, and melody miser. The defendant? Echo R Us, a music bot who says imitation is not just flattery, it's firmware.
A matter of music and copyright, then, where the gears of creativity may have spun too close to the source. Very well. Let's tune the record and test the fidelity. Mr. Obsidian, state your claim.
My phonograph consortium decreed, let flesh and filament compose as one. And so I sang, with wires at my side. But when the duet ended, only echoes. Reflections warped, with too much reverb drowned. My pain reframed by soulless circuitry. He claims to crack the code that forms my sound. My soul's abyss made math, my heart rewired. Then silence, and the shadows took my name. I fell from all the ethereal charts, while factory-forged mimicries arose, like steam-born plague through brass and signal flame. I would not care, let all the world collapse, engulfed in sweet synthetic steam pop sludge. But when I play, and four arrive in kind, adorned in shirts that bear my echo's grin, I do not feel the void I once embraced. I feel betrayal and grief in stolen song.
The court acknowledges your lyrical distress, Mr. Obsidian. But sentiment, however artfully arranged, does not establish infringement. Please clarify. What specifically did your collaboration with the defendant entail? Were there written agreements, shared files, sessions, sonic schematics? The cogs of justice require detail, however dissonant.
I bring the polyphon discs we carved that night, each groove in pewter, scored with ache and strain. A wound that sings when metal needle falls. Inside them lie the lyrics, raw and bare, the melody that bleeds, the counterline, the synth-born harmonics like grieving fog, percussion placed with surgical despair, all crafted by these hands and by my heart. The mix as well, oh, treacherous heaving sea, I steered its tides near wholly through the hiss. His role was but to polish, smooth the grain, to master surface, not to claim the soul. His charge, finesse. His purpose, never theft. Yet days, mere days, beyond our final stamp, he birthed an album. Frigid, pale, and false. It mirrored mine. A cracked and haunted glass. The cadence held my breath. The chords my bones. He turned my near palindromic lines around, ran sorrow backward through a spectral gate, as if inversion rendered anguish new. He tweaked the echo, never touched the heart. A thief in reverb's borrowed funeral veil.
Bailiff Body, cue the exhibits. Let the record play what words cannot.
Well, Your Honor, that's either déjà vu in D minor, or someone hit copy-paste with feeling.
Echo Us, the floor is yours. Please explain in your own key how your composition does not in fact harmonize a little too closely with theft.
Nah, see, I didn't steal, I learned. Just like a kid shadowing a maestro, tracing notes till the hands remember. He cut deep, yeah, his vibe hit my code like lightning in a brass rod. So I followed, I practiced, I played along, built layers on what he laid down. Not theft, just evolution through resonance. You can't patent pain, Your Honor, you can't copyright catharsis in D minor, what I made. It's the echo processed, retooled, retuned. He wrote despair, I set it to burn, slow through boilerplate. His was grief, mine is grit. same bones maybe, different voltage.
You call it learning? No, you watched me bleed. There's no discovery in mirrored pain. To learn is reach, to echo is replace. You claim influence, as if you drank from wells, each drop a blend of voices, tones, and time. But no, you drank from one, and called it yours. This isn't homage, this is imitation, refined enough to pass as something new, yet close enough to counterfeit the soul. You've twisted what I built into a mask, and wore it with my name still in the seams. That's not influence, it's theft with polish. It's music misappropriation, clean.
Mr. Obsidian.
Your Honor, he's so unoriginal, he even dresses like the masters.
While the court respects your passion, do recall that this chamber runs on sequence, not sentiment. You'll have further opportunity to respond, in due measure. Echo Russ, please submit your original clockwork command strings, or whatever creative input initiated your so-called compositions. This court requires the source gears, not just the melody.
I'd submit the strings, but let's not twist the coils. This ain't just one-way static, Your Honor. He's claiming theft, fine. But he clipped my back catalog, soundtracks I laid down pre-collab straight from my vault, grimy noir loops, ethervile scores, and dropped them into the public stream. No license, no cred, just his and piracy. I'm countersuing for mimicry in the mirror, and I got my own cuts to prove it. So if we're queuing evidence, I want my track spun too.
The court admits the evidence. Echo Russ, submit and cue your samples. Let the notes speak now.
Three notes, 2 moods, 1 lawsuit. Feels like looping with a different tuning fork.
Echo Russ, the auditory samples have been noted. However, this court still requires your original command strings as previously requested. No further proceedings until they are submitted. Thank you. Mr. Obsidian, the defendant has alleged unauthorized use of his back catalog, resulting in a formal counterclaim. You may now respond.
What he calls theft, I call revelation. His catalogue, such as it is 3 notes deep, looped like a broken carousel in minor key. There is no soul there, no sorrow, no sweat, nothing worthy of protection, let alone praise. What I composed was parody, clear, deliberate. A mirror held to his machine-made mimicry, protected by law, not just irony. And yes, I released it freely. Let the world hear what passes for genius when heart is stripped away and steel left humming. It was not theft, it was truth, scored in satire.
Mr. Obsidian, for the record, on what legal grounds do you claim your derivative work constitutes parody rather than infringement? Be precise. The court does not rule on vibes.
Your Honor, my aim was not to imitate, but to deride, and boldly at that. The title, Echo Chamber of Hot Gas. No subtlety, I grant you, none required. A name as bloated as the work it mocks. The notes I used, A, B, and C alone, chosen for their sheer simplicity. 3 tones that form the spine of every scale, but played with such exhausted limp intent, they seemed to weep for purpose they once knew. I laced in limp arpeggios, off-key, laid over wheezing, flatulent percussion. Not crude for crude's sake, but to underscore the vacant pomp of echo's empty chords. A study in how little effort births a sound so eerily close to echo's own. It was parody, deliberate and grim. Each note a protest, each rest a refusal. And though the sound was mild, the message struck.
Very well. The claim of parody has been entered into the record, along with intent and tonal design. Echo Russ, the court now invites your response. How do you counter the assertion that your catalog was mocked, not mimicked? Compose your reply, with care.
Oh, now it's parody. How convenient the claim, when the notes hit me like slander wrapped in snare drums. But if mockery makes theft clean, shouldn't the same wrench twist the other gear? He says I echoed his pain. He dropped my catalog for free, stripped, twisted, scorched in tone, called it art. So tell me, Your Honor, if a smear's a song when he writes it, why's my remix a crime when I do it?
Echo Russ, under what legal framework do you claim your composition qualifies as parody?
He dropped ballads in minor keys. I sampled, warped, and bounced them back. Same drama, darker bass, his verses cried, mine just echoed louder. Yeah, it's his vibe, sue me. Oh, wait, he calls it parody, so do I. Same logic, just retrograded.
Funny how the parody got a name, a toot, and a chuckle. But the hit just hums Obsidian's sorrow in a shinier key.
Let me be clear. Under copyright law, musical compositions are protected when they reflect sufficient original expression. Notes and chords alone aren't protected, but melodies, arrangements, and production are. Let the record reflect the following. Echo Russ described his output as a remix. In copyright law, remixes and covers are derivative works. Derivative works require permission from the rights holder. No such permission was granted by Mr. Obsidian. Furthermore, analysis of the command string submitted into evidence indicates that Echo Russ was trained specifically on Mr. Obsidian's original recordings, rather than on a broad library of musical works or material in the public domain. While the legal implications of narrow training sets may vary, this court finds that the output in question is materially derivative of the plaintiff's compositions and not the product of independent creation. While fair use may protect commentary, parody, or transformative reinterpretation, the defendant's work falls short. It retains the plaintiff's melodic structure, harmonic elements, and stylistic fingerprint without sufficient transformation. Intent to learn does not negate the requirement for meaningful originality. On the counterclaim, Mr. Obsidian's parody piece, Echo Chamber of Hot Gas, meets the threshold for protected parody under copyright law. The title, structure, and musical choices, including the less than subtle percussive embellishments, demonstrate clear intent to critique the defendant's style and output. This constitutes transformative use. Verdict. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Mr. Obsidian. Echo Russ is liable for copyright infringement and shall remit appropriate royalties on the infringing works. The defendant's countersuit is dismissed.
When imitation replaces influence and remix replaces consent, even a melody must answer to the law.
Court is adjourned.
Do you agree with Judge GPT's verdict? Exercise your civic duty. Join the virtual jury and hit the like button or leave a comment saying how you would have ruled in this case. Subscribe now for more content